You have read many news stories about Cordlife, but do you know why people are so angry? It's not because of the cost. Watch on cause if you're a customer you'll be super angry too So, you might have read about MOH announcement in November 2023, but it all started way before that. You see, back in February 2022, around 2,200 cord blood units in one tank by Cordlife has a temperature that's beyond acceptable limit. I know you are wondering what cord blood is now just wait I'll explain later.
I always explain everything one remember?
Anyway, just think of the tank as a big freezer that needs to be kept at a certain temperature. If not, the food in the freezer will spoil So what happened is that the temperature isn't ideal to keep those cord blood fresh Yeah, but on September 2022, when MOH conducted a routine check there, they couldn't find anything wrong Then on February 2023, Cordlife's board was informed that one of his tanks were exposed to irregular temperatures over several days in June 2022. Here's the thing, in a company got the executive team and the board. The executive team do the daily operations and is usually led by CEO. That's why they are called the Chief Executive Officer Then there's one more team that's above this executive team. They are called the Board of Directors. They answer to the shareholders. So basically, the Board of Directors kind of choose the CEO or decide on big things Therefore, when the board was informed about it, they have to do something like telling the shareholders, right? They didn't cause they assessed the financial impact of the incident and then deemed that there will be no material impact on the company's financial performance for the financial year. Yeah, it's like a colleague who say, hey, don't need to tell boss this okay? Won't affect anything But on July 2023, a member of the public complained to MOH, alleging that cord blood unit stored in a Cordlife tank has been exposed to temperatures above 0 degrees Celsius in addition to other service quality issues. So only Kang had to stop making TikTok videos and then check it out They evidently with unannounced audits on 15 August and also on 16 November to 21st November and found that 7 of his 22 tanks have been exposed to irregular temperature at different periods since November 2020 Wow. Simply put, imagine you have 22 freezers in your house and 7 of them have been above 1 degree Celsius for don't know how long. It was such a big hoo-ha that Cordlife has been ordered to stop collecting cord blood for 6 months first. A lot is still ongoing, like more lapses were found, some of his directors arrested and whatnot. You'll still be reading a lot about this, but here's a real question you have. Simi is cord blood. Many of our cells are kind of fixed one. Like we have got skin cells in our skin, muscle cells in our muscle, and for your boss case, intestine cells in his brain, cause all his thinking are shit one. They are kind of fixed cells, but in the world of the amazing body, everything starts from one type of cell, the stem cell. You see, stem cell is a cell that can turn into any kind of cells. So when you're still in your mother's womb, you are kind of made of many stem cells, cause you need to grow into different cells But once you are born, any of these stem cells have become the cells that we know. Just think of it this way, when you're still inside a womb, you are made of many stem cells, so you can develop different kind of cells in your body Now, just imagine taking these stem cells and keeping them. When you're older and you happen to have a disease of, say, your blood, you can just take the stem cell that you have kept and kind of restart developing the so-called correct blood You see, when you're an adult, you still have some stem cells inside you, but not as much So you actually need a lot to kind of do the restart. Usually, these stem cells work on just you or your family members due to the similarity in our genes. If you put it in other people, most of the times, but not all, their body will reject cause they think it's kind of like infection cause very different genes So cord blood, which is the blood that the phenomena produce, has many stem cells since the phenomena is developing It needs to get oxygen and whatnot from the mother, so it goes in and out from the mother's through a cord which you can think of it like a cable When the baby is born, the cable will still have this blood, which is the cord blood and they have many stem cells. What Cordlife do is they store this cord blood for you, so in case you need it for any treatment in the future, you can use it You cannot just keep it yourself cause need specialized equipment Also, Cordlife isn't the only one that provides this In fact, Singapore even have one called the Singapore Cord Blood Bank, which can even be used by strangers if there's a match. So now you know why people are angry they might have paid thousands to store the cord blood in a private place, but the angle is that this cord blood is stored so that they might one day save their lives or their kids' life. If they are damaged, they cannot be used, and of course there's no other opportunity. The reason why it's mostly for young people nowadays is that most cord blood storage started in early 2000s in Singapore. Before that, it was still a rather new thing. So if you're an uncle like me, you probably didn't have any store. Now, this is very cheap, so if you want me to simplify it even more, cause it's really super interesting just comment blue cat's blood is blue, and if there are over 88 comments, I will do so. In the meantime, if you think I learned something, consider subscribing and also watch this video to be slightly smarter.